I demanded a divorce out of the blue. Oh, the typical I'm not happy. Yeah, imagine just waking up one day and realizing, I'm not happy today. I need a divorce. But 5 years later, I'm still in love with my husband and wish we could get back together. Yeah, hey, bro, sorry for ruining your life for no reason. Will you take me back? How much you want to bet he's already remarried to a newer model? So walking into the living room, cake blazing, my daughters and I burst into a chorus of happy birthday while I carefully tiptoe towards the delighted birthday boy in question. My girls, aged 14, 12, and 10, rush to their dad, enveloping him in a group hug. I catch his eye and we smile at each other as he leans forward and blows out the number 50 candle. An hour later, after presents have been opened, I take my leave. No one notices me go or even barely acknowledges my feeble goodbye. You see, this isn't my home. The girls are staying with their father this evening to continue the celebrations. It's his house, not mine. It could have been yours if you didn't throw it away. So not the first time. As I drive home that evening, I end up pulling over and bursting into tears as I chastise myself over and over again for ending my marriage 5 years ago when I was 44. Oh, man, imagine being back on the dating market at 44. I guess she's 49 now. Yeah, the dude can manage it at 50, but I don't think she can. She's going to have to really lower her expectations. I bitterly regret acting in such haste, not just because now that I see it was a stupid, impulsive thing to do, but because I still love my ex-husband. Lawrence wasn't unfaithful. He didn't treat me cruelly. He's a fantastic father, and he didn't have any weird predilections either. But he didn't make you excited, did he? Yeah, Chad and Tyrone did a better job there, so you left him, huh? My impetus for pressing the self-destruct button on my 15-year marriage. 15 years! And she just threw it away. And now she regrets it. Was a lot more mundane than that. I was dissatisfied, insecure, and worn down by what I perceived as the drudge of my life and lost my temper with him once too often. And now 5 years later, in hindsight, you're realizing, maybe I really should have just calmed down like he told me to. Maybe it was just a phase. Maybe I am just a stupid bitch. All these questions she's got to be asking herself now. So truthfully, it's not that I haven't built a life for myself since our split. I've been seeing my partner Tom for 2 years. He idolizes me, does he? Yet while I do love him, whenever I find myself comparing the two of them, I'm afraid Tom pales in comparison to my ex. If Lawrence were to ask me to try again, I'd dump Tom without a backward glance. Does Tom know about this? This right here is why guys tend to avoid single mothers, because almost all of them are like this. Like, oh yeah, if my ex called me back, I'd be getting back with him in a heartbeat. If you're the other guy and you know this, how could you commit anything to these 304s? All right, but 5 years ago, with 3 daughters under 10 and chronically ill parents, life was unrelenting. There were times in my early 40s I wondered what on earth I had done to deserve such a life. Yeah, and now that this is like the textbook example of you don't know what you have until you lost it. And to be fair, we've all gone through this to varying capacities, including myself. There have been things in my life that I took for granted until now I don't have them anymore. And now I wish I did. So I do kind of understand that. But it is kind of funny that she's the one that threw them away herself and then realized that life actually got worse. And now she's like, oh, okay, can I get back to what I had before? No? Oh, fuck. Yeah, grass is greener. That's right. As a stay-at-home mom, my life ran on a constant loop of school run, chores, seeing my parents, school run, clubs, cook, bath and bed, repeat. Occasionally, I'd get to go to the gym, and even more rarely, have coffee with my girlfriends. All right, so how I'm sure your husband's life is so much better, right? Oh, wake up super early, go to work for a soulless corporation, sit in the wagey cagey for 8 to 10 hours if you're lucky. Sometimes it could get up to 16 plus, and then come home and sleep and repeat the process. That's so much better than your life. Yeah, you're missing out on so much. All that male privilege. So meanwhile, Lawrence went to work and saw his friends afterwards if it suited him, only helping out with chores and play dates at the weekends. And the one thing I really took umbrage with, he created a man cave at home just for him. Yeah, how dare he have a room just for him? Wow, what an evil man. She has the entire rest of the house, but she's mad that she can't have that one room that's just for him. That 10 by 13-foot space filled with his books, computer games, and boys' toys came to represent everything I resented about the unfairness in our relationship. Why did he have to have a sanctuary away from the responsibilities of parenthood and running our home when I was the one shouldering the vast majority of the burden? For the same reason you have a sanctuary away from doing a soulless 9-to-5 job to pay all the bills, because he's the one doing all that. Like, how would you appreciate it if he was calling you from work, asking you to come up there and help him out with his job? That's what it's like when you keep bugging him. And as I keep saying, like, if you think I'm sounding unfair, I take care of all that shit myself. It's not anywhere near as hard as Whammons make it out to be. Like, they like to pretend like doing housework should be like this 6-figure salary, like a job that they're just slaving away, working so hard all day. It's like maybe every couple of months when you if you got to do like a thorough cleaning. As long as you do that, every other day is pretty much like an hour of work tops. And they treat it like it's the same as an 8-hour workday in construction or something. Yeah, turning the Roomba on is so difficult. Exactly. Yeah, so whenever Whammons try to pull these sob stories, it never works with me. Like, yeah, you realize I'm a single guy who takes care of all that shit myself while I have a day job, while I do YouTube as well, while I'm working on a bunch of other projects as well. And somehow I can manage to do all the work you bitch about when that's all you do. Man, get out of my face with that fucking bullshit. It's not going to work on me. Over the years, what began as an in-joke between my girlfriends built into a constant simmering resentment, further fueled by their own stories of husbands not doing their fair share. Yet I never addressed it with him, something I now bitterly regret. Damn, this is a typical story right there. She was radicalized by her friends. She was, until she started hanging out with those miserable 304s, I bet she was perfectly happy. And then they poisoned her. Should I have also sought professional psychological support through this tough period? All I remember was feeling constantly tired, stressed, guilty, and resentful. I was short. I was short with the girls, and even shorter with Lawrence. One cold Sunday morning in January, when he'd left his mug near the dishwasher instead of putting inside the machine, I let rip. Oh my God, she didn't even do the dishes herself. She used the dishwasher. Apparently, putting a mug in the dishwasher is just too much, you know? So it all came out, what a selfish father he was, spending hours in his man cave that he never lifted a finger in the kitchen, how underwhelming he was in bed. Actually, he wasn't. If anything, I was the underperformer, constantly finding excuses to not to get intimate with him. And when we did it, actually willing it to be over so that I could get some sleep. Yeah, you're admitting to it now after it's too late. Congratulations, I guess. Man, these stories of self-destruction are just, it's interesting to me. I love these. I saw him wince, yet seeing red, I carried on, shouting that we weren't even husband and wife, we're just partners bringing up our children. Then I uttered the words I really wish I hadn't. We should just call it quits. I want someone better than you. Yeah, then she gets out and realizes that she already had the best one she could get. Okay, I got 100 out of 100, but maybe there's 105 out there. By the time I finished spewing my awful tirade, I crumpled to the floor where I promptly burst into tears, assuming that just like other occasions where I'd had a monumental meltdown, Lawrence would kneel down and give me a soothing hug. Not this time. He walked out of the room. Wow, this is telling as well. Just like the other occasions when I'd had a monumental meltdown. Yeah, this was just the last straw for this guy. He's like, I've put up with your fucking shit for 15 years. And now you say all that crap. Yeah, you know what? We're done. We're done. I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, you did that guy a favor. So that night he went to stay at his mom's house, and after calling him throughout the night with no reply, the following day an email arrived telling me that I was right. We should call it quits. Oh snap! Yeah, she probably thought that that he was just gonna bend over and give her everything she wanted, but instead he's like, no, no, I'll okay, I'll agree with you. If this is how you are, yeah, let's quit. Apparently, life was too short to walk on eggshells around me. Yeah, dude, was I right or was I right? He could never predict when I would erupt, scorching everything around me and then expecting it all to be forgiven in a heartbeat. Yeah, not to mention you expect him to clean up after your meltdown. You melted down over him not putting a mug in the dishwasher, yet you expect him to clean up and pick up the pieces after every one of your outbursts. So, although Lawrence considered me a great mother, his rating of me as a wife was pretty poor and he'd had enough. That was a low blow. Okay. After all the shit you said about him, it was a low blow for him to say, like, yeah, well, I don't think you're all that hot either. Yeah, so that was too far. It's too far when he said it to you. I see. I see. The world stopped turning. I couldn't believe things had got to this point. Oh, if it isn't the consequences of my actions. That's the kind of story this is. When I said those awful words in the heat of the moment, I never meant that we should actually split up. Oh, come on. I didn't mean the things I said. And these same women, if you just ignore whatever they say and dismiss them, they get mad at you for that too. I am thick and tired of you dismissing and belittling my opinion. Yeah, but you never actually mean the things you say and you expect to be taken seriously? Which one is it? Do you want me to take you seriously at everything you say or don't you? No, you're just supposed to psychically know when you're supposed to take me. No, fuck you. I'm done. I fully sympathize with this guy for just deciding, nah, we're done. So we'd started out with such high hopes. Lawrence and I got together. We both worked at the same bank and we were joined at the hip from the start. Yeah, and then you sabotaged it. Congratulations. You ruined that guy's life. After dating for a year, I fell pregnant and he proposed. When our first daughter arrived, I took an extended maternity leave and never went back. I adore being a mother and have always operated from the position that mom knows best and became a bit of a perfectionist and a tyrant. Yep. At least she admits it. Lawrence tried to help, but if things weren't done my way, then it was the wrong way. Today, I recognize that I sounded like an utter harridan, and when you're sleep deprived, forever catching up on chores, I just didn't have the time or patience to see it. All right, so this is a low key way of her admitting she fucked up there too. She admitted that at least at first, he tried to help her, but then he just got sick of it because it was never good enough. Look, I've been in that position myself, where I try to help someone and then they just start reeing at me because I'm not helping them good enough. Like, okay, fine, do it yourself then. I'm not obligated to help you. I was doing it out of kindness. If you're gonna treat this like I'm an underperforming employee for you, no, you could do it yourself. I didn't appreciate what we had. Yeah, obviously. Lawrence was a programmer, hence the man cave, and he earned a decent 5-figure salary. Oh, but it wasn't 6, though. What a scrub. Living in the Midlands meant we could afford a family summer holiday every year. We'd have film nights at home and the odd date night out as a couple, too. I never doubted that he loved me. The it's over email was, I thought, a knee-jerk reaction, so I left him to cool down for a few days. I told the girls that Daddy needed to spend some time with his mom for a bit as she was unwell. But after a week, it was pretty clear he wasn't coming back. Why is this bridge that I set on fire burned down? The fire was supposed to wear itself out before it gets this bad. I don't understand. I fast forward 9 months and I was officially a divorcee. During the negotiations, egged on by girlfriends who were navigating similar relationship issues, I reluctantly assumed it was the right decision after all. I just wonder if this Whammons is still friends with those 304s, because it's obvious that they're the ones that sabotaged her relationship. Even my solicitor steered me firmly back on the divorce track whenever I had a wobble. Look, at this point, do you really think you had a choice? You crossed the final line with your ex-husband. I don't think he would have wanted to keep you. You were gonna do the divorce regardless. So I got everything I'd asked for: custody of the children, the house, and maintenance. Lawrence found a smaller property with enough room for the girls. Yet, plagued by doubts on more than one occasion, I tried to call it off. Once, in a rare face-to-face during child handover, I pleaded for another chance to see the relationship counselor together. It was to no avail. Whenever I asked Lawrence if he would reconsider, he'd stonewall me. Good on him. Yeah, I would have done the same thing if and look, this story is all told from her perspective. So she's making herself sound as good as possible. So you know the truth must be even worse. In a last desperate attempt, just before the divorce was finalized, after arranging a babysitter, I turned up unannounced, begging him to talk things through. He coldly asked me to leave. Yeah, maybe now, maybe you're gonna learn that the answer to your problems isn't to throw a temper tantrum. Even though I doubt you're gonna have the time to put that lesson to use at your age. Even a month after the divorce went through, I wasn't put off and gave it another go. This time he did let me in. As we were now officially divorced, I pleaded, could we at least be friends? I saw the Lawrence I fell in love with that night, funny, charming, as one glass of wine led to another. We ended up in bed together. Oh, God. I guess at this point, he just doesn't care anymore. He's just like, yeah, that's true. We could be friends with benefits. I'm not gonna do anything else for you though. No, you're my 304 now. You show up when I fucking call you. We have sex, and then you get the fuck out. Before I left, while he was asleep, I scribbled a heartfelt note telling him how much I loved him, and I hoped this could be a new start for us. The following day, I received a curt text informing me that it had been a mistake. Yeah, I was drunk, so don't take any of that seriously. The following 2 years post-divorce went by in a blur of handovers every other weekend and Wednesday nights. I hated doing the walk of shame when I'd leave the girls with him, convinced that the neighbors were watching, judging me as a Whammons who had the perfect family, and threw it away. I mean, that's what I'm judging you on that, so the neighbors probably were too. In my social circle, opinions fell into two camps. My family thought I'd taken a leave of my senses. Yeah, your family knows. Yet my friends told me I'd done the right thing. You're still friends with those fucking harpies. Are you ever going to realize that your friends are the ones who fucked up your life? She said earlier in the article, too, that her friends were all going through similar situations. Yeah, misery loves company. Your friends are the ones that fucked up your life. Why are you still friends with them? Well, the fact that you still don't see this, like, there's no hope for this woman. I understand now that their advice was prejudiced by their own marital issues, and I wish I hadn't been so influenced by their bitter perspectives. Okay, good. Do you still hang out with them? Are they still your friends? It's good that you at least recognize that. I'll give credit where it's due. That's further than most Whammons get. On days when the girls weren't with me, I threw myself into internet dating. There were more misses than hits. This only made me further realize what a fool I'd been in losing it with Lawrence. Compared to every man, I compared every new man I met to him, and they always came up wanting. My eldest, now 14, is very much aware of how much I regret what happened. Yet, though she was initially keen for us to get back together, now they have all pretty much adapted to our circumstances. Yeah, this has been the norm for 5 years. She reports back to me about the odd date Lawrence goes on, listening to her describing each woman is like a dagger to the heart. Yet I can't help but ask about her, about which of the neighbors are interested in Dad and which Whammons he has seen on more than one occasion. One Christmas, after a rather thoughtful present arrived for me from her father, I did ask her whether she thought we could get back together, and it was a big fat no. Yeah, even the 14-year-old daughter knows, like, yeah, there's no chance. Yeah, she even went out to outline what he thinks about everything from my newly yoga honed figure to the change in my life path, or I've retrained as a life coach. Oh, every one of these whammons is either a life coach or a dating coach, and they all suck at both. Now, I look, if you're a life coach and your primary selling point is don't make the same mistakes I did, you could probably make an argument there, but do you really want to be getting life advice from someone who fucked their own life up this bad? So apparently he prefers my curves and lulled by my new professional direction. Yeah, that guy's a software developer. He knows. I met Tom on a dating app 2 years ago after a few stop-start relationships with other guys. By then, I'd reluctantly acknowledged the odds of Lawrence and me reuniting were slim to none, and I needed to move forward, at least as far as everyone else was concerned. But while Tom ticks every box, he makes me laugh, is a good cook, perfectly adequate in bed, and is great with my children. He just isn't Lawrence. You could have had Lawrence, if you didn't fuck it up. So here I am in my late 40s, a divorcee who can't help but looking back. I still make a big deal out of birthdays, Father's Day, and Christmas because it is one of those, is on those precious days we all come together and I can fool myself that we're a family again. And I know I will love Lawrence until the day I die. He's already over you, I bet. Yeah, this is smart though. Names have been changed. Yeah. Because imagine if Tom found this out. Like she was literally saying, like, dude, if my ex asked me back, I would dump you in a fucking heartbeat. Like, guys, if any of you knew that the girl you were seeing felt that way about you, that you were just good enough while she was waiting for her ex to get back with her, would you keep that 304 around? Because I wouldn't. Yeah, back to the streets, exactly.